Hey guys, it's your girl Nosh. Happy Tuesday. What's going on? Happy New Year, by the way. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is healthy. I hope everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing and not doing what they want to be doing. Because sometimes, actually all the time, if you fight against destiny, you're really not going to get anywhere. You're going to find a lot of obstacles. You're going to meet a lot of roadblocks. But if you actually flow with destiny, meaning you accept what is being given to you and you work with it, right? You work with it. The universe will bless you. It definitely will, because it'll say, look at this kid. This child did not even complain once. Whatever lesson we gave this child sat down, learned, and applied it. Because this message in this video is about how the year 2024 equals to 8. If you break down 2024, it breaks down to the number 8. The 8 is about karma. The 8 is about abundance. It's about reaping what you've sown. This may, some people might get sensitive with this one. If you want to see if you are reaping good, look around you. Do you have peace? Are you okay? Like, you are legit okay. You're peaceful. That means you are going to be getting the good part of the reaping and the sowing. That means you've sown good fruit. You've sown fruit that is edible, that you can eat. Now, if you look around you and there's chaos, there's confusion, you feel like you're not getting where you need to go, it's time to do a little reflection. Maybe it's time to change your thinking. Maybe it's time to change your perspective. Maybe it's time to change the angle that you've been hitting the nail on. Because what Spirit is showing me right now is a nail and a hammer. And if you hammer the nail from a side angle, it's going to go sideways. If you hammer the nail from the top angle, it's going to go right in. So maybe for some of you, you need to look at the angle again. You need to change the angle, maybe change your perspective, change your habits, change your pattern, change your thinking. Because to be really, really straightforward with you, if you are experiencing peacefulness, like you're okay. You're not anticipating anyone. You're not expecting anyone. You're not, when I say anticipating and expecting, you don't have that want in you, that yearning in you for something. Because you have to be careful here. When you want and yearn for something, 9 times out of 10, it's not for you. Or it's not for you now. Because you guys have to understand this. Whatever you have in this present moment is what's written for you. Now, if you've been, listening to me for a while, I talk a lot about things that are written for you. I come from that perspective. I come from that belief that it's already written out for you. You just have to follow through. So if whatever is written out for you and you're accepting of it, and I'll give you an example, because you're going to be like, well, what do you mean if I'm accepting of it? If you're having a bad day and you remember that only one thing happened, right, to you, well, here, let's start this over again. If you're the type of individual that looks outside and sees it's raining, and your entire thought frame is, oh, today's going to be a bad day because it's raining. Yes, it's going to be a bad day because you called it. But if you look out and you say, oh, it's raining. All right, that's good. Oh, well, what are we going to do? It's raining. Let me grab an umbrella. You're still okay with it. You're still good. You're like, okay, you still got to get things done. Maybe some of you won't go out and you're okay with not going out. I'm talking to those individuals that really throw a tantrum when things don't go their way. For those individuals, maybe this year is the time to heal that inner child within yourself. Because you know what children do when they don't get what they want, right? They throw a tantrum. Adults do the same thing, but they do it in different ways. When adults don't get what they want, they show jealousy. They show defense. They show rebellion. And then when I'm talking about you don't get what you want, this is strictly for those people that are looking for love, that are looking for marriage, that are looking to have children. Maybe right now is not the time for you. That's what I'm trying to explain. And you have to be okay with that. Once you're okay with that, once you're at peace with things, that's when you start reaping good. You reap what you sow, guys. If you've been putting good out there, you're going to get good back. If you've been reaping jealousy, that's all you're going to get. If you've been reaping resentment, that's all you're going to get. Because the whole point of this spiritual journey that you guys feel that you're on, right? This life journey, it's all about letting go of those things. Because you have to understand, happy people reap happiness. Sad people reap sadness. Miserable people reap miserableness. And when you're sad, when you're miserable, when you're unhappy, right? There's two types of people in this world. People that when they're unhappy, they try to change it. They understand that it is their responsibility to make them happy, not anyone else's. Then there's those individuals in the world that feel entitled that it's other people's job to make them happy. It's other people's job to provide them. It's other people. It's never them. This year may be hard for you because you're going to get back everything that you put out there. So if you've been messing around with someone, right? No, hear me clear here. If you've been messing around with someone else's stuff or someone else's things, you've been messing around with something that doesn't belong to you, you're going to reap that this year. So I don't know how much more clearer I can say this. If you've been keeping to yourself, you've been putting your nose to the grind, you've been staying in your lane, you haven't been envying anyone, you haven't been resenting anyone, you haven't been shameful of anything, you haven't felt guilty for anything. Behold, because this year is going to reap you the most beautifulest fruits that you can possibly see or feel. And when I say fruits, I'm talking about experiences, people, situations. But if you've been sitting there purposely bothering other people, trying to take from other people, trying to bring other people down, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to happen to you. The most important thing I learned that I must share with you guys is everything you wish onto someone else comes back to you. That is why it's so important that when you're upset, to ground yourself, right? To ground yourself and go back into that peacefulness. Because if you don't, what do you think you're putting out into the universe? And as humans, the universe knows that we have emotions, but the universe also knows that it is our job to understand those emotions, respect those emotions, acknowledge those emotions, and then balance those emotions. There's a lot of people walking around here that are immature emotionally, right? And their emotions are not stable. And when their emotions are not stable, or when your emotions are not stable, look at what you do. Think about the things that you have done in the past when your emotions weren't stable. What did you say? What did you do? And I'm talking about in the sense, when you get really angry and you say things you don't mean to people that you really didn't mean it to, that's what I'm talking about. When we can master our emotions, that's when peace comes in. So when you're unbothered, when people try to trigger you and you become unbothered because there is nothing left to trigger inside of you. When you become unbothered when people try to upset you, because you understand that getting upset is just wasting your precious energy. So you don't get upset. You're just like, okay, this was expected. I'm not surprised anymore. When you come to that state of mind, when nothing surprises you anymore, behold that you will be walking into peace. That is peace. When you're like, you know what? It is what it is. A lot of people don't like people who have that mentality. It is what it is. When people say it is what it is, they're not saying that, oh, we're not going to do anything about this. What they're saying is there is nothing to do about this. It is what it is. Now, I have a lot of clients that come to me and they ask me, when is love coming? When is that coming? And as a reader, I'll tell you. And A lot of times when I tell someone, oh, it's a year from now, 2 years from now, I hear the response, oh my God, that's so long. And I just want to laugh. This tells me you have no patience. When it comes to life, when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to wanting something that you want, wanting to manifest something, patience is required. If you don't have patience, you might as well sit this game out. Like, I'm a Sagittarius, and I'll tell you one thing. I am so patient. That's one thing I had to learn, because I remember when I used to operate out of impatience, it never went my way. I never got what I wanted because I was impatient about it. When I finally recognized that everything that's happening for me, right, or happening to me is for me, not against me, that's when I started understanding peace. So when I didn't get what I wanted, I was okay with it. You know why? This is what I said to myself. Maybe it wasn't for me. You have a lot of individuals till this day, and it saddens me. And it's also pathetic. You can get offended if you want to. You don't like it, you can switch over to another channel. But it's pathetic when you sit there and you fight with the universe over and over again about something that you're not receiving. Get the clue that maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's hazardous for you. Maybe it's not aligned for you. So if you have been asking for something and you still have not received it, maybe you need to think about that again. Maybe you need to let it go. Maybe if you let it go, you'll get it faster. To be honest with you, that's how manifestation works. So if you've been sitting there petitioning this thing over and over and over and over again, and you have not received it, understand that maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's not for you right now. Maybe it's not for you tomorrow. Maybe it's not for you this year. That's understanding acceptance. That's accepting it. Like, okay, you know what? I wanted this jacket, and every time I go to the store, it's never available in my size. You know what? I'm going to just let it go. I'm going to keep showing up at this, I'm going to stop showing up at this store for this jacket in my size that they don't have. Am I making sense to people right now? I hope I am, because I'm trying to break it down as much as I can. Another example I'll give you. You keep manifesting that person, that specific person that you want so bad because you're crushing on them and you feel so much for them and you can't stop thinking about them. Have you gotten them? Have they called you? Have they given you any attention? No, maybe it's not for you. For those of you who want to possess an individual so bad, right? Let's just be honest. You got people out there that do that. You got people out there that try to manipulate the elements, aka do magic to try to have someone, to try to get someone to like them. What do you think's going to happen? If you're not receiving that, no matter how much magic you're throwing on them, no matter how much manipulation you're doing, whatever tactics you're doing, they're not working. Maybe that person is not for you. I know it's so hard to understand that for some of you, but I'm sorry. Sometimes you can't fight the universe, because the universe is everything. The universe is grand. Universe, source, God, whatever you want to say, you can't fight it. Trust me, I was there when I used to fight it, and what I was fighting it for, I still till this day did not receive it. Even though I stopped fighting for it. You know how sometimes you stop asking for something and then you receive it? If you stop asking for it and you still don't receive it, just mark my words, it wasn't for you. And I'm talking about, like, say you had an ex that you broke up with and you wanted them so bad, you start doing magic, you start manifesting, you do whatever is underneath the sun to try to have this person back in your life, and you're still not getting them back in your life. That person is not for you. That's when you need to let it go and accept that part. Acceptance is a big thing in the spiritual journey. Patience is a big thing. Understanding is a big thing. This is why 2024 is going to be the year that everything you put out there, you're going to get back. You're either going to make it harder on yourself or you're going to make it easier on yourself. And those of you who are making harder on yourself, you already know what you're doing. Don't get upset with the ones that are getting it easy. Because a lot of people tend to do that when they're asking for something and they see another person get it and they get mad, they get pissed. Don't do that. First of all, that is so bad. Bad in the sense like, oh my God, get over yourself. You're not that fucking important. Maybe it's not your time right now. And when I say it's not your time right now, I just don't understand why people don't understand that. It's not your time right now. When your brain starts to process that, maybe you'll understand what peace is at that point. Because the only thing you're doing is you're fighting yourself. You're fighting yourself and you're fighting universe. You're telling universe that you don't believe in universe, you don't have faith in universe. Like you're trying to sell or buy a house and it's not going for you. Maybe it's not the year. Maybe it's not the season. Try again next season. Maybe you're looking for a job and the job that you keep applying for keeps rejecting you. All the jobs you've applied for rejected you. Maybe those are not the jobs for you. You keep wanting to get married, but there's no offers coming in because maybe right now is not the time for offers to come in for you. Sometimes you have to really just be that bird in the sky and say, God, take me where you need to take me. Or universe, source, take me where you need to take me. This is what year 2024 is going to be about. If you were faithful, if you were understanding and you were patient, then be ready to have a lot of peace come in. Have a lot of your manifestations come in for you. Because again, you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow is so strong. What have you been reaping? Are you ready to sow it? If you really were to sit down with yourself and ask yourself, what have you been doing to others? What have you been doing to yourself? Are you going to reap good or are you going to reap bad this year? That's up to you. A lot of people feel that what they do, no one is watching. Source is watching you all the time. Source knows what you're thinking in your head. Source knows what you're feeling in your heart. You can deny it as much as you want. You can lie about it as much as you want. You can't lie to Source, aka universe, aka God. You can't lie. When you think you're sitting in the dark lighting those candles and saying those mantras and saying that spell work to get somebody to do what you want them to do or to have them, you don't think Source is watching you? You don't think God is watching you? Or you think God took vacation on that night because you're so important? God was like, you know what, I'm just gonna ignore this kid. No, God, Source is watching. God is watching. So since now everything has been, watched and sought and looked at, you're going to get what you put out. So how do you know you're going to get good? Like I started this video off. If you are experiencing nothing but peace and this I don't care feeling, like I'm happy with what I have, you're going to be reaping good this year. But if you're still stuck on that, oh, why does he have this and why does she have this and I'm better than them and you know what, you got a whole year of I don't know what the hell you're going to be going through. Universe knows what you need and what you don't need. Universe has already written it out for you. All you got to do is follow the yellow brick road. And that's all I have for you today, guys. I hope you like it. I like this message personally. It was a big reminder of having patience, of understanding what peace is again, and just knowing that nothing but kindness works. If you put kindness out, you're gonna get kindness. Those people that aren't kind to you, stay away from them. Love those that love you. If they don't love you, leave them alone. It's very simple. Don't get confused by asking yourself, well, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel that way? Understand that, okay, I feel this way, but I'm not getting anything out of it. So maybe I need to change my feelings. And also love yourself so much that when someone comes into your life, are they doing the same thing that you would do for yourself? If they're not doing what you would do for yourself, then number one, they're not for you. Number two, they don't love you. Number three, they don't care about you because you care about you. So what you want to do is if you ever want to compare love to love, right? Like, I wonder if he loves me. Does he treat you the way you treat yourself? And the only way you're going to understand that is if you love yourself. All right? All right, guys. I love you. Take care and see you next time.